Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Summer Tournament here at SGLive here on Speed Gaming. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. We've got ourselves a great race between Phoenix29 and Duskplume in the losers bracket. Definitely going to be a fantastic match, even if it is in the losers bracket. I am Grant, and I am joined in the booth commentating today with Sonny Rath. How you doing, Sonny?
I am doing rather well. This is a match I definitely have been looking forward to. Phoenix and Duskplume, both very, very good runners, very, very strong runners, looking to keep their tournament lives afloat, per se, here in the losers bracket. I mean, this has been a double elimination tournament so far, and unfortunately both of them did lose in the upper bracket, but fortunately, it did not mean that they were out of the tournament. Of course, if one of them, or whichever one of them loses here, will be out of the tournament, though.
Right, yeah. It's definitely the biggest of stakes as far as the tournament is concerned. But both of these runners are really good. Phoenix has been kind of fighting through the losers bracket for these last couple of rounds, if I was reading the challenge correctly. And I believe Duskplume was kind of dropped down into the losers bracket more recently, but obviously both of them are still really great runners and very much, I think, could easily go through the rest of this losers bracket if they get the chance. We will see how they both perform with a mandated black belt, thief, and black mage on screen.
Correct, and the blessings that we have on these characters are the thief gets plus 20 strength, the black belt can equip shields, and this black mage gets thief sword, so we might see the black mage actually doing some melee damage.
Now, when we say they can equip the thief sword, I assume that just means stuff that just the thief itself could equip, so not the ninja.
You would assume correctly, as okay. If it were ninja weapons, then that would be more of a promo bonus than just a base bonus.
Right. And no promos here because there's no tail.
Yep. And the only recruitable light warriors will be the wizards. So red wizard, white wizard, black wizard. And a lot of people that have been very successful so far on this flag set have gone into Topher with two mages. I mean, one of the biggest games that happened recently was Not Young Me versus Saracen, where Saracen had two mages going into Topher, where Not Young Me only had the one. Saracen was able to get through a lot easier than Not Young Me. But here in just a couple moments, the runners will be off as they start. Instant party reorganization from both Duskplume and Phoenix to throw that thief up into slot 1 in order to be able to make running a lot easier. And we see level 1 nuke here in Black Magic. That is extremely good to see, as that is the strongest sweeper in the game, netting anywhere from 100 to 400 damage depending upon whether or not it's resisted.
Yeah, that's if you are carrying a party of any sort of black mage, black wizard, that is exactly what you want to see. There are few other spells that you would want to see lower or at level 1 more than nuke.
Indeed. Duskplume, being the first one to make it in the Temple of Fiends, does get a zombie encounter that doesn't seem very bad, but goes straight into Garland. Not going to check any of the boxes. We see a Bane Sword as the magic item for this seed, as they both just dispatch Garland with ease. We see an Adamant coming from the King of Canaria, and Princess Sarah is going to have the canoe, which means there's very, very likely route divergence coming up, as well as a potential ice cave dive, or even a jump into volcano to check those tiles.
Yep, yeah, the canoe offers a lot of travel flexibility early on, because, yeah, that theoretically means not only can you get through Dwarf Cave and then over to Marsh and Elfland courtesy of extended open progression, but you can get to Ice and Volcano through that canoe usage as well. So, be interesting to see how the runners go about it. Looks like both of them are heading up toward Provoca, so if we do have divergence, it's not be quite yet.
I do like the check for level 2 Black Magic. Unfortunately, these Mad Ponies having Sleep Touch puts Phoenix's Thief to sleep, but he's able to make it out of the battle just fine. Duskplume, though, entering Provoca, and you might be thinking, wait, Provoca doesn't look right, and that's because Provoca in and of itself, well, all the shops and the inn are in random locations.
Yep. Just when you thought they were running out of things to randomize in this game, well, now they're shuffling shops around. They can shuffle floors, they can shuffle entrances, they can do all sorts of things and slice it and dice it and make it into julienne fries.
Exactly. So I believe that Duskplume is using the Valkyries of Light sprites, but I could be mistaken. I know that there was an update, shall I say, to the Valkyries of Light sprites that I think actually makes them look like that. I'm not 100% certain, though.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that sprite set myself, so I would be a poor source of information on that front. I've got the TNT here for not all that much money, honestly.
And Phoenix sold off the Bane Sword, so there's a pretty significant money advantage there for Phoenix, making the shopping a lot easier and a lot more concise.
Yeah, and that also means if you do indeed have route divergence, you're going to have Phoenix be able to go ahead and do both of the dwarf turn-ins at once. And it looks like Duskplume is going to get the money for this. Looks like it's going up for a pop grind.
Yeah, I do see a pop grind in Duskplume's future, which, this is a very, very old play, but a very, very rewarding one.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since you've got level 1 nuke, you don't have a lot of fear in taking this pop grind. If you had much of anything else, I think there'd be a lot more anxiety.
But this is also going to give Duskplume some early levels, which is absolutely nice to have. So the Adamant turns into the Earth Rod, and we're soon to see what this TNT turns into. Matoya's Crystal.
Alright, goes ahead and grabs what I think was a red wizard there. Yep, yes. Red wizard.
A secondary nuke caster, always a nice thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
And the red wizard does have the hurt dragon bonus.
So it looks like Duskplume got enough money to get that TNT and got the Light Warriors up to about level 10. So, yeah, obviously, of course, now it's with the way that things are set, Duskplume does have that disadvantage in terms of, I guess, routing itself. But we'll see if those levels that he got off that pop grind can make up that balance.
I would only call it a minor disadvantage right now. However, Phoenix having the extra nuke caster as it stands is definitely going to make things a lot easier. On top of that, we do see Ruse, we see Heal 2, we see Heal 1 available here in level 1 White Magic. Heal 2 being the only spell not learnable by that Red Wizard, as it is in slot 2 that is White Mage / White Wizard locked.
Yeah, so really I think in terms of the advantage, we'll see with this crystal yields, of course, having come from the TNT. And if it yields anything really substantial, then of course it'll depend on how well Phoenix can go ahead and kind of use that advantage as Duskplume gets to the Dwarf Cave and engages the Hooray Dwarf, so I salute you, Dusk. Thank you very much.
Now, the nice thing about the crystal right now is that it can still yield almost anything, and it yields the Power Bonk, which is a fast bonk. That is extremely nice to see, as now the fast spell is not a worry to be picked up.
Right, yeah. And I've seen runners use the gauntlet to great effect during these seeds, especially, of course, because you have the star of the show here, which is the Black Belt, can use overwhelming power already, and you add fast to that equation, and it starts to get to where you could punch a planet in half.
Exactly, and Phoenix unfortunately taking a wipe there to Snakes with Fire 2. So Phoenix is deciding to not head back over to Matoya's cave, but instead push on, as that fast bonk can be picked up later. It's not something that is crucial at the moment. Oh, Arachnids with Blaze. That's
Ooh.
even more painful.
Yuck. Ugh. That's a big pile of nope, thank you very much.
That's going to make both Marsh as well as Earth Cave a little disgusting.
yeah, just a little, just a smidge.
All right, Phoenix has made it down to the Marsh Cave and is going to go ahead and head to the bottom side of it, making the play on more chests, banking that the incentive item will be there, as it is not necessarily going to be in its vanilla chest, but it is going to be in a random chest that is not locked.
Right, yeah, so I can definitely understand both sides of this play. You obviously have Swamp North, which is a little bit faster but has fewer checks, and then of course you have this one, which is more checks. But if you find the item down here, you feel really good about yourself for not having to go up to the top. And there you are, there's the ship.
Yep. So that ship is going to head over to the Elfland dock, and that is going to allow Phoenix to have more of the world open. And by more of the world, I literally mean one location, and that's Ordeals.
Which we've seen before, an early play on Ordeals can actually merit some pretty good bonus benefits. So it looks like, Duskplume is definitely making our first big divergence. Looks like he's going to head down the river system and make his way towards, presumably, Ice, maybe Volcano, or maybe just all the way down to Crescent. No, it's going up toward Ice.
So, whichever way it pans out, I do like this play, as Ice is a bit of a longer dungeon. However, even though it is a bit of a longer dungeon, the EXP yield in Ice per encounter is much, much higher. And considering that Duskplume went to level 10 on the Peninsula of Power, that does net the potential for a lot of levels here.
Yeah. Especially if Duskplume is able to find... looks like Duskplume's going ahead and just engaging the monsters here on this first floor, so interesting. I'm a little surprised we don't have a more active search for a grind tile.
I am not, because I know exactly what Duskplume's doing, and that is getting levels on that Red Wizard right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's level 4 Warp for Phoenix, as well as level 4 Temper. So Warp and Temper being on the same level, you know, that's really not a bad thing to see.
No. No, because your use of Warp would obviously be conditional to if you're trying to get out of a dungeon, then the rest of your charges could be solely used on trying to buff up that black belt. So yeah, that's definitely you have good uses for both, and they don't really cross streams too much.
Exactly. We did see Pro Rings for sale in the Elfland Armor Shop for 16,000. And those were Pro Rings plus 2, so pretty good absorption on them, and there's going to be no weight penalty on them.
Yeah. Alright, Duskplume checking out this top set of chests in the Ice Cave. Has not found the item just yet. Finds a mage in the first, or at least the second, trap tile that we've seen in there. Nothing particularly to write home about. Looks like Phoenix is heading for Ordeals.
The early Ordeals play, as you mentioned earlier, one that can pay out massively. It's just all going to depend upon how many of these Light Warriors survive, and unfortunately, Phoenix did not save prior to walking onto those tiles for Ordeals, and instead took a wipe, as Duskplume finds the herb behind the Frost Dragon tile, which in this case is just the 2 to 4 wizard tile.
A Frost Wizard tile.
It is
going
the
ahead.
classic marsh tile.
Yep. Going ahead and checking the trap tile here, and going to go ahead and pull the chest out of the 6-pack. Pro Cape's pretty good find.
And Silver Bracelet plus 2 is also quite nice.
Yes, it is. All right, get a little bit of protection on these poor little mages in the back of the party. Seems to be having a pretty good run in this ice cave so far. It can be a bit dangerous with a lot of the different monster varieties in here, but Duskplume's been having a pretty good time just going through it to this point.
Indeed, and Phoenix is now inside of Castle of Ordeals. Does not have any warp charges, so is hoping to not get sent back to the start of the dungeon. Does run into the waterfall tile here with the Whiz Mummies, Cockatrices, as well as the potential Pyralisks.
Yeah, those nuke charges coming very much in handy to get a good, meaty bit of experience there.
Oh, yeah. So Duskplume running out with the herb. Phoenix making the correct choice for the first split on the Pillar Maze, correct choice on the second split. And we'll have to wait on this third split until after this Zomble encounter, which just gets nuked down.
Yeah. Yeah, when you've got two wizards who can just barbecue at will, it makes a lot of things a lot easier to endure.
Correct choices all around for Phoenix
Yeah.
there, as a very, very fast Pillar Maze was had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was top-notch.
Cobra's here on the Nightmare tile, as Phoenix decides to not check the top chest.
I mean, considering you know which one is going to be incentivized in here, I can understand that. Find ourselves we find ourselves a Titan snack in Ordeals, and in Crescent Lake we have the King's headpiece. So fetch quests all around.
Yeah, Duskplume has 2 turn-ins to do right now, and very well may hit Marsh on the way to do those 2 turn-ins and pick up that ship, where Phoenix has the Ruby and actually does have Warp at the ready now. We'll get 2 items coming in from Titan's Trove as well as Sardis Cave.
Yeah, so at some point, probably in the next few minutes, we're going to see a really sort of commanding sense of our next destination outside of, we've already got the rod for the Earth Cave, but outside of that.
Invis 2 is Red Mage learnable. That's the cube coming in from the Elven Prince, so definitely a nice thing to see, albeit not useful just yet. The time is the other half needed for that. Still looking for a loot and key, though.
Yep. Oh, no learning fade for the Red Wizard.
Alright, Phoenix running over to the inn to take a quick save, and it's time to head over to the Titan. So let's see what the Titan is going to have. That level 4 magic was very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the Ruby turned in for Phoenix. What is going to be here in the Titan's Trove? We shall find out shortly. An Aegis Shield, that's super useful for nothing, but that's the floater. That's a big find for Phoenix. That's gonna rocket him into the lead.
Yup. Yeah. And isn't even bothering to go collect Sardo. Why would you? You can just fly back and save the time.
Exactly. Less encounters.
Yeah. So that Ordeals play, as of course, I alluded to, and then you mentioned a moment ago, that Ordeals play looks like it is going to very much play out to Phoenix's advantage in this one.
And with such an early encounter off of Power Cycle, I get the feeling that we might see a Yonakern Desert grind from Phoenix if the T-Rex or sandwiches are early on the encounter table.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that.
Alright, Phoenix making the pit stop here in Crescent Lake. Gonna pick up some save items and get ready to do this.
Yep. Duskplume heading into Marsh Cave. Unfortunately chose to go top of Marsh first. Again, understandable, but we've already seen the treasures at the bottom, so this is going to be a little bit more time on Duskplume's side.
And fast being level 6, depending upon what level Phoenix decides to kill off the mages at, that may not be hit. And so that fast bonk may come back into play if Phoenix remembers to grab it from Matoya's cave.
Yeah.
So right now, Phoenix has quite a bit of a lead.
Yeah, being able to complete this homework faster than Duskplume, I think is going to really... there was a little bit anyway, because Phoenix decided to sell the Bane Sword, and that got money for the TNT and allowed for sort of more efficient routing in that vein. I got an incentive ribbon from Sarda, so definitely a good time move from Phoenix then to not go back through the cave to get that ribbon immediately, but to come back with the airship. So that, I think, is a very justified decision there.
Oh yeah, it's an extremely lucrative play. Phoenix about to turn in the crown and find out, oh, the slab's here. Okay.
Hi!
And now it's the high, nuke, and buy.
Well, in the second round, it seems.
Yeah. Low rolls, unfortunately, against Astos, as when it comes to the early game enemies and bosses, Astos does have the highest Maj Resist, or MDef.
Yeah. So, just kind of took a peek at both runners' levels right now. Phoenix does have a little bit of a level deficit. It is down 2 levels. But with the airship and being able to clean up all that homework, not only is 2 levels not a huge deficit anyhow, but also getting more of these key items, Phoenix will be able to clean that up a lot faster because we'll be getting that extra 10% experience per each key item.
Exactly. It makes everything go a lot faster, and once Phoenix decides to settle into wherever a good grind will be, that's just going to expedite the grind even more. So there's the fast bonk picked back up by Phoenix. Good memory on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now I believe it is off to... It's either going to be off to Lefane or the Cardia incentive, which is going to be here in the Forested Island.
Yep.
Here in the 4-pack, it's the top right chest, and that's the loot that is absolutely necessary. And now the only other thing that Phoenix needs to find outside of course, entrance into a 3rd dungeon would be that Mystic Key.
Yep. Alright. Yep.
Instant T-Rex, just add water.
It's the steak, yep. Get them knives out, y'all. As the T-Rex tries to eat the black belt for dinner.
Nom, nom, nom. Now, the only problem that Phoenix might have is getting the rest of the party down.
Yeah.
But gonna go ahead and unequip all the armor and drop a cabin. If it does not target slot 4, then everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Duskplume, though, heading over to Castle of Ordeals is soon, or going to be soon to have the ruby in hand, which will lead to the floater. So,
Ooh.
Karant,
Yes.
where would you want this mystic key to be located?
Well, let's see. We've got the slab turn in already that we have available. I don't believe we've seen the bottle yet. We've still got waterfall. Let's see. Trying to think if there's any other locations I'm forgetting here. So I don't think so. I guess just for the sake of chat and entertainment, a Lefane slab turn into the bottle into I suppose the let's see, trying to see what's left here on our screens. But yeah, any sort of chain turn in I think would be kind of better for the audience, and it wouldn't be too terrible for the runners, but still give us a little bit more action on screen.
Exactly. All right, Phoenix trying to get the party down. Should have at least one member down very shortly.
Yeah, if I'm doing my math right, whenever these other 3 party members are down, it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 17,000, a little over 17,000 experience per encounter for the black belt.
Yeah, it should be 17 to 18,000.
Yep. But the T-Rex is... Oh, well, there you go. I was about to say the T-Rex is not being terribly obliging, but then down goes the black mage, and the red wizard is fairly close to... And the thief now. Okay, so now it's working out.
So there's already 5,800 EXP for each encounter. Phoenix not opting to move the red wizard up. So we'll have to see how that plays out here.
Yeah. Duskplume is about to go get the Titan drunk because Duskplume... Oh, what? Duskplume? You missed the ship. You skipped the ship. Where are you going?
I know exactly what Duskplume is doing.
Okay.
He is going to check the quadrant of the desert that Phoenix is in.
Oh, yep. So we're going to have ourselves simultaneous grinds then.
We are, as a matter of fact. Alright. Yeah, this grind is going to go straight from about 10 to 100. So let's see how quickly this goes. Unfortunately, the thief just doing thief things and being super evasive.
No, I will have this experience.
But is down to 2 party members now. So that's 8,760, so it should be 17,000? 17,520?
Yeah. AKA a lot.
Yeah. AKA, let's go Burr.
Yeah. And it looks like once Duskplume gets the other 2 party members down, we'll be getting a similar amount of experience, a little bit less. I would say probably 1 key item. I guess it'd be probably just that floater turn in apart, but it's going to be a little bit less, and Phoenix is done?
Phoenix is going to go try to get that thief killed off in Volcano.
Okay. Yeah.
Or at least drop it in the critical.
Yeah. Yeah, because that thief just refuses to die.
Exactly. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but it's not going to be the end of the world.
No.
It's just slightly unfortunate that it has to be done like this.
Yeah. It feels a little rough, but the good news is, for anybody not familiar with Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy Randomizer, all of those lovely little lava tiles that Phoenix is running on do not advance the encounter table, so with all of these laps of lava, Phoenix is not getting a single encounter queued up until he leaves the lava tiles.
Exactly. So, Duskplume, soon to have this grind going into Plaid. The Red Wizard is ready to fall over. But the question is, how long is it going to take for the Thief to fall over on
Not very long.
Phoenix's side? And it takes about that long.
It took such a short amount of time, you couldn't even finish the sentence.
Nope, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Phoenix is too, because Phoenix is now able to go ahead and punch those T-Rexes down right off the jump. So we're going to be seeing, you think it goes all the way to 42?
I see 42 in the future.
Yeah. Although apparently the T-Rex does not.
And Duskplume is down to the Thief and the Black Belt. Now just the Black Belt.
All you have to do is say it, Sonny, and it happens.
Exactly. And 16,790 for Duskplume. So Phoenix getting a bit more EXP, but playing a little more risky by not fully healing the Black Belt. And got crit and punished as such. But the nice thing about the overworld grind is that you're saving the levels every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, that all those cabins and houses that we've seen Phoenix build, or at least purchase, definitely all going to use because you want to make sure that you're not wasting any of this.
And already doing over 1,000 damage on each attack. So this is going to go really, really fast now. It's just going to be the question of where's the key? Where's the Oxyale? Potentially, where's the Chime?
Yep.
And we do know that there is an item in Canaria locked, and it cannot be the key.
Right. Yeah, that's the one, actually that is the one incentive place that I had failed to think about earlier, so thank you for mentioning that.
Alright, Phoenix and Duskplume just going through these T-Rexes, taking them through the meat grinder, and turning them into ground steak. Good burger material right there.
Yeah, as many T-Rexes as are going down, we're all going to be eating well tonight.
Hey, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. And hopefully we can find a good option for the vegans in the audience, because this is a lot of meat that's getting carved up.
Yeah. That is the only downside.
Yep. There's 42 for Phoenix, and is going to keep taking it.
I think I know what Phoenix is looking for. Probably 46. Because then you get a massive amount of absorb. You have a massive amount of MDEF. And you're over 900 HP at that point.
Yeah.
But might also just take it all the way to 999 HP.
Yeah, we go into 50, y'all. Or at least close.
I think we're going to hit 50 on this next encounter.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, not going to happen. At least not this encounter.
Phoenix has decided to stop at 48, which, you know, good enough.
Yeah.
But Duskplume, unfortunately getting T-Rexes to run away with that black belt in slot 1, it's not good.
No.
It slows down that grind considerably.
Yeah. It looks like Duskplume's in the high 30s, I think, if I caught that correctly. But yeah, that is unfortunate. I didn't really think about that potentially being an issue. So you mentioned it specifically because that black belt's in slot 1. I assume it being in other slots would change that formula.
Yes, so really the way that the morale table works is it looks at whatever level the character in slot 1 is, and then throws the roll whether or not the enemy is going to stick around or run away.
Okay. So even if that black belt was just in slot 2, it would completely change it.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is why Phoenix kept the Thief up in slot 1.
Yeah.
Because then the T-Rex was at a point that it would not run away. It would stick around every single battle. And Duskplume deciding to keep the black belt in slot 1 is ultimately what caused the T-Rex to start running away.
Okay.
I would say it's not a bad play, but it definitely is a suboptimal play in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're trying to do that grind, you don't want you don't want your meat running away from you. Speaking of meat, we have a behemoth on screen.
And there is a behemoth. The alternate fiends are on. The behemoth coming from Final Fantasy II, the NES version at that, or Famicom, depending upon how you want to look at it.
And very quickly going back to Final Fantasy II.
No, it's going to come back when we're 2,000 years in the past. Don't worry.
Well, drat. Yeah, that's true. I guess the black belt just punched it into the past.
Exactly. So, Duskplume picking up the floater from the Titan's tunnel. Phoenix 1 orb up right now with that Earth orb. Or, no, Fire orb.
Volcano, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot read. Don't mind me.
No worries.
The only reason I said Earth as well is since Duskplume was over there. But there's the Mystic Key coming in from the slab turn-in at Lefane. Now all Phoenix needs is the Oxyale or the Chiming Cube, and that'll be go mode.
Yep. And of course, like you said, we've got Canaria locked to look at. We've got the waterfall. So we got the bottle turn in whenever we see it. So not a lot left as far as available checks. And I think the items remaining are, like you said, the Chime and the Oxyale and...
Cube. Or no, Chime and
no,
Oxyale.
They got the Cube. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop and correct myself on that one. So, Phoenix definitely making some very, very strong plays here. With Duskplume cruising through Volcano right now. Soon to be taking on a behemoth of his own. As Phoenix now heads up to the waterfall, is this going to pan out with the Oxyale? Or is it going to pan out with the Chime? Granted, the better question, are we going to have a musical waterfall?
Are we going to have an out-of-bounds bat?
That's always the ultimate question.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Because we all need an out-of-bounds bat to bless each run.
Yes.
And no out-of-bounds bat.
No oob. Darn it.
That's the bottle coming in from the robot, so this is still a question of whether it's going to lead to Chime or Oxyale. Duskplume knowing where the cube is, if this leads to the Chime, might be able to make up a little bit of time on Phoenix, but not very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it would be a little bit because I figure you're going to go ahead and see the bottle check here, and then Phoenix will immediately, if Phoenix doesn't find what they're looking for, I imagine Phoenix will go ahead and just head straight for Canaria.
Yeah, because Phoenix's team never ice, and whichever one is here, the other is going to be in Canaria locked. And it's the Oxyale, so that does put Phoenix into go mode at the 36-minute mark. So we're going to see the seed finished probably here in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. Because, of course, you still got Phoenix about to go into on-rack to go to the Sea Shrine. Then you, of course, also have the Rod with the Earth Cave. But with a level almost 50 black belt, there's not going to be too much that's going to pose a threat to this party.
I mean, the only thing that could pose a threat is the Fun Dead or Warmech and Friends. But even then, the threat from either of them is going to be fairly minimal, to be completely honest.
Yeah, both runners choosing to go with double mages, I think particularly for that instance, because we've seen before in Fun Deads or the War Making Friends that a party that doesn't have enough nuke casters, or basically just strong spellcasters to try to wipe out the extra mobs, can run into problems pretty quickly, even with a very high level black belt.
Exactly, and Odron noting in chat that Fun Dead has been showing up a lot lately, and you are correct, my friend. I mean, in 2 of the races I've been doing commentary for since I came back into the booth already, I've seen Fun Dead.
My predilection in the runs that I've done has been for War Making Friends, so could be either of those, could be a different one. You never know until we find chaos.
Exactly. But Phoenix is down on Kraken's floor already, as Duskplume has made it to Lich's floor. So we're going to know what 2 of the other alternate fiends are. The Lich Incarnate is Salamander, showing its face from Final Fantasy III, and now will be reappearing 2,000 years in the past to get punched back into Final Fantasy III. And Kraken is Ifrit. And Ifrit goes down in an Ifrit of punches.
Yeah.
Alright, Duskplume gonna go ahead and do that slab turn in. As Phoenix just needs to head over to Earth Cave, finish that out, and that's gonna be all 3 orbs lit for Phoenix and the ability to access Topher.
Yeah, one thing that's been a lot of fun, I think, with these Speed Gaming Live seeds is they are speedy. They live up to the name, because if you're, I suspect, I mean, obviously there are some seeds I figure that'd probably be less friendly than others, but I would guess that if you're still on the seed after an hour, you gotta feel like, what in the world has happened?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, granted, with Fun Dead, there's always the potential of that happening anyway, because of poor RNG on targeting.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have short Topher on, so fortunately for the runners, they only have to go through the bottom floor, but they do still have to fight at least 2 of the fiends, and they have to still have, of course, the loot and the key to be able to make it through there. But those the alternate chaos has proven to be an equalizer more than once in this tournament.
It most definitely has, and a lot of that is due to going in either underprepared or without 2 mages. So,
Right.
I mean, one circumstance is definitely filled in this race, with Duskplume only being at 32-ish or mid-30s. And Phoenix, I mean, has none of those circumstances applying in this case, as level 48 black belt and lots of just nuke charges in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way Phoenix is set up, probably going to be in pretty good shape to take out any alternate chaos. Duskplume, I think, is on the way to being in good shape, but like you said, doesn't quite have those same levels on the black belt. Black belt can still hit, just doesn't hit quite as hard.
No, I mean, it's only got 8 hits instead of the 10 that Phoenix has.
Yeah.
And as such, won't be doing anywhere near as much damage. So that is the downside, per se, of it all.
Yeah. Chat mentioning that Dusk is close to 42, stop the grind at 41, so we'll probably be getting that by taking down Tiamat here. And so yeah, that'll help bring that up to the 10.
It definitely will, as Phoenix lights the final orb and is ready to head into Topher. Duskplume, encountering a random eye, punches it 10 hits, and actually is level 43 now, so...
Okay.
It's definitely a close game. I mean, the only thing that Duskplume's missing is that loot.
Yeah, and I think Duskplume was starting to head toward Cardia a minute ago and then decided to turn around and go ahead and do Sky. So I figure is going to finish off Sky, light that third orb, grab the loot in Cardia on the way, and then dive back down to Topher. So yeah, this is, I would say, probably, I would wager about a 3 to 4 minute difference. So pretty much the difference in basically selling that Bane Sword at the beginning.
Yeah, it really is. So Phoenix goes off to the left, sees Astaroth, and then goes off to the right, attempts the Behemoth. Behemoth opens up with Swirl, and it does not end well. Fastbonk going out onto Punch. Astaroth opens up with Heat, so just some chip damage as Duskplume is making it through the Bridge of Destiny. Astaroth follows up with a nuke, wipes the party.
Oh dear. The Swirl versus Nuke, that is not a great... Those are not great options to choose between.
Yeah, they really aren't. It's going to come down to how turn order rolls out here. Fastbonk's going to go out first. Swirl follows up immediately. Phoenix is trying to not lose any of the characters. And this is already much, much closer.
Mm-hmm. It's equalizing fast.
Alright, Behemoth throws out a punch, hits the Red Wizard, and just absolutely bodies it. Duskplume picking up the loot, which is the Bugle. And now it's time for Duskplume to head into Topher and see how everything goes. Swirl's going to come out. Is it going to kill? It kills all except... Or it kills one party member, and that is the Black Mage. Phoenix going to the next Fiend, which is Ifrit. Throws out a punch and does not take out Ifrit on that first punch. Fire 2 is going to come out next. That Thief at 1 HP, the only number that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is time to see what this alternate chaos is going to be. Cure 4 coming out just to make sure everybody's back in top shape. Punch going down into the third slot, and the alt chaos is the Sahagan Wagon.
That's a name I hadn't heard yet.
So, 2 Ifrits, 4 Arsahags, 2 Wizsahags.
And a partridge in a pear tree?
Exactly. Nuke's going to come out. 1 Ifrit's down. All the Arsahags are going to go here, and only 1 of the Wizsahags. So this Punch and Nuke should finish out the fight. Nuke's going to go out, finishing off that other Wizzsahag. The Thief is going to die, but 17 hits for 2347 is going to seal the game for Phoenix, coming in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 44 minutes, 43 seconds. Get your GGs out for Phoenix as Duskplume is working on finishing out Topher. Welcome into the booth, Phoenix. GG's.
GG's, thanks. So can we talk about the meme?
Here in just a moment.
Oh, yeah, carry on.
Because Duskplume just entered the Chaos fight, has all 4 party members up, and is instead going to use the Fast Bonk with the Black Belt instead of having it on the Thief like you did, Phoenix, to use it that way. Fast is going to go out, and that Thief is still standing tall. Nukes are going to come out. And is that going to be a full clear? It is a full clear on the Sahagans, so now it's just taking out the 2 Ifrits. Temper's going to go out. 14 hits for 3109. Fire 2 is going to come out from Ifrit 2. And it's just wait, fight. Crack's going to come out next. It's going to miss the Black Belt. That's all that matters. 16 hits, 2660. And that's GG's for Duskplume. Finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 45 minutes, 57 seconds.
Oh, GG's. So just over a minute's difference. Nicely done.
So, Phoenix, I'm going to ask the first question. Why did you not decide to continue through when you had only lost 1 party member?
I was afraid of a potential Fun Dead pack. I've seen Fun Dead ruin too many of these runs, where somebody's had a big lead and Fun Dead has taken something out and they've been caught. So I was just hoping for turn order, and I I don't know, what was it, like 4 times that I just never even got turn order.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I just said, screw it. Duskplume is a heck of a racer. GG's Duskplume. She's awesome, and I knew she couldn't have been far behind me, so I just had to hope and pray it wasn't Fun Dead or Warmech and Friends.
As we are joined by Duskplume. GG's Duskplume.
GG.
So, I gotta ask you the question of, did you consider selling the Bane Sword in Provoca in order to pick up that TNT?
It never really crossed my mind, just because, I mean, it might have been a little bit quicker than what I did, but I knew that there was, the fast encounter off of the reset, the hard reset. Peninsula Power's right there. It's going to take me like 30 seconds just to do a couple of fights. It'll give me some levels too, so that just seemed like the better option to me.
That's fair. Also, massive route divergence in Team Ice versus Team Never Ice. And Team Never Ice took it on this one.
Yeah, even when ice isn't bad, even when ice goes very smoothly, even when ice is, leads to something where I am able to go to sky, and that's fine there, it still costs me because it's not necessary. Just go to waterfall, just get the Oxy Ale, just go to sea, I hate ice. I hate it so much. I don't know why I went.
So, Phoenix, you were going to mention something about the meme of
So-
a Danny seed, I'd assume.
We all know what Danny is famous for. Blaze Arachnids. Danny rolls this seed, Blaze Arachnids. Like, come on, Danny.
It felt good.
Oh, I'm sure it did for the viewers.
I didn't see that, so that's nice.
Wow.
Thankfully, I only saw it once, but I kept Earth till last in case I ran into a pack of 8 or 9 of those.
Yeah, if you would run into the pack of 8 or 9 while you were in Earth, that would have been pain as a platter.
Yep.
Like, the seafood party pack wouldn't even be able to compare to that level of pain.
Yeah, that would have been quite ugly. Thanks, Danny. Love ya.
We all love Danny.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other questions to really ask Karant. I'll let you take over for questions, because I imagine you've got a few.
Well, I was going to say the main one I was going to mention, or the main thing I was going to say was about that Bane Sword. I know, Duskplume, you mentioned that the Peninsula Power was close by, and it is, certainly. I think, I don't know, I could definitely see it either way as far as keeping it or getting rid of it, because Dusk, I think you were using the Bane Sword more as far as a party sweeper early on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if the black belt's not doing anything and you're just pressing wait or using an item anyways, waiting for nuke to come up, like, early game, Bane's going to take care of enough, I think, that it makes it worth it. Like, you might get a sweep. So I thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, ice is the bigger culprit to me. That cost me. Ice always cost me.
Yeah, because we noticed that you went down there first off, and you basically, the way that the first kind of route divergence split was that Phoenix ended up, after getting done with Provoca, had the Adamant and TNT in hand and went ahead and went straight for the Dwarves Cave. I think you went ahead and went south to Ice in the hope that would pay off. So you got those levels on the Red Wizard that you picked up in, I believe, Provoca, and then went and did the dive of Ice. So getting those levels on that Red Wizard was pretty smart to get it going and get it with some good spell charges. But yeah, like you said, the rest of that dive just, unfortunately, it just didn't work out well. You got the incentive chest, so I guess kind of in the middle of that dive, behind the Frost Dragon tile. But yeah, unfortunately, you're getting into these kind of high levels of the competition, and y'all are getting toward the end of the losers bracket, and it's just those little decisions that in 60, 70, 80% of your seeds, that's the right decision, and unfortunately, just in this seed, it maybe worked out a little bit differently. That's all it's coming down to, is just those sorts of razor-thin margins.
Yeah, and I mean, it felt so good at the time because you go there
Yeah.
and you get herb, you're like, okay, great, and that's I'm going back to March anyways, and then you go to
Yeah.
the stages and there's crown, and it's like, okay, perfect, this was completely the correct thing to do, and no, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Well, I mean, I can see that though, because like you said, you get the herb, you've got the crown. Then, I mean, I think you already had the adamant and the TNT, so you're just sitting there sweeping around, kind of the clockwise jaunt around the intercontinent. And yeah, if you pick everything up quickly, and if say the herb turns into the floater, or something, if one of your early pickup items turns into the floater, then you're off to the races. It's definitely understandable.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. That's how it is sometimes. I'm not disappointed with the way I played at all. Either of the two losses that I had, I felt like I played really well, and I just ran into two really good runners, and a little bit of divergence was all the difference between us, and that just happens. You can't get upset about that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, also, if the alternate chaos tile was Fun Dead or was War Making Friends or anything like that, we could have easily seen both of y'all fighting that encounter at precisely the same time. As it stood, it was still almost the same time, so definitely kudos to you both. That was an excellent race.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. I'm glad to have been part of this tournament, take part. Phoenix, I need you to win the losers bracket, so you go up against Goat, and I can say I lost to first and second place.
I'll give it hell. I'll do what I can, but there's some good runners still in that loser bracket, especially that bottom half there. That's frightening.
Yeah, let me just say sweeping my brow when I saw that I was in the top part of the loser bracket and I see Channing and Fried Teeth down there. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't got to deal with them until later if I move on.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Jesus the Frog coming up next, Phoenix. I imagine you're a little nervous about that match because Jesus is real good.
Yeah, he is. He's a heck of a runner. He and I played in round of 64 in Winter Tournament this year, and he gave me absolutely everything I could handle. I think I pulled it out near the end of Game 3, so that's going to be... I'm going to have a perfect race to beat him, so I'm looking forward to that one, and we'll see where it goes.
And Duskplume, as for you, you made a pretty good run in this tournament, all things considered. I mean, you went up against Pickles and Beer, who is an absolutely terrifying runner in and of his own right, and then ended up having to go up against Phoenix here. And I mean, as we all know, with Phoenix, master of puns, but no slouch either when it comes to this.
It is what it is, like I said, hope Phoenix makes a real good run here. Now I turn my attention to the Fall League and start my job as a member of the Bubble Soda Company as their new bottler.
It works out. So yeah, the only match left in the losers bracket for round 3 that still needs to be decided is Not Young Me versus Luffy DV, and that'll be whenever it's scheduled. I'm not sure when it is just yet, but the winner of that will be up against Fry Teeth, whom is also extremely terrifying. And then the other match up in the winners bracket is Saracen versus Kumo. We've seen Saracen in chat. Not sure when that's scheduled, but I imagine we'll find that out shortly. And then the winner of Kumo and Saracen will be up against Pickles and Beer. So definitely some very fun matches, some very, very good matches coming up. But, I think we should get some final thoughts from both of you. What do you think? We'll start with you, Phoenix.
Thanks to the crew for crewing this. I know it was kind of a bit of an odd time of the day, so thanks for everything you guys do. Thanks for Speed Gaming for hosting us, and it was a fun Danny seed. It's always fun seeing Blaze Arachnids.
Duskplume, my friend, all yours.
Thanks for everybody in the booth. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes. Thanks to Speed Gaming. Thanks to FFR for putting this all together. I now retire to my coffin, and I will awake in a month when I am needed again. Goodbye.
I like it. Current. You got any final thoughts before I take us on home, my friend?
No, just wanted to say GG's to both of you. Y'all both had excellent runs in the tournament. Of course, Phoenix goes on. Duskplume goes to retreat into that coffin to emerge. If it's in a month, you're going to be a Halloween vampire, so have fun. But yeah, so thank you for a great race from both of you, and it was definitely a lot of fun to cover it, so appreciate y'all having it at this. Might be an odd time of the day, but it was a perfect time for yours truly, so I definitely very much appreciate that.
Yeah, the race time was perfect for me as well, as I got everything I needed to for the day done this morning, so I was like, if I'm needed, throw me in. But at the same time, got to give a huge thanks to Speed Gaming for allowing us to have these races on here. Definitely be sure to give them a follow, Speed Gaming, and then Speed Gaming 2 through 6 for the entirety of the network. Give the runners a follow, Phoenix and Duskplume, both amazing Final Fantasy Randomizer players. People I'm not looking forward to going up against in Fall League, but we'll get there when we get there. Definitely be sure to give Goats Pirate a follow, as Goats Pirate was pushing the buttons behind the scenes, making sure our information was correct and keeping us all in line. Karant, of course, my co-commentator, amazing to do commentary with, as always. And with that, I'll take us on home. Thank you all for watching. Have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, depending upon where you are in the world. And keep the power of those orbs alive.